What's up, everyone? It is time to talk Raw. It's the go-home show for Clash of Champions, and it's also the first episode of the year up against Monday Night Football. So how do we combat that? Well, we open the show with Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's a good way to do it. And don't know if you noticed the loud, organic pop when Austin's music hits. That's a pop. When you don't know what you're about to react to and you hear somebody's music and you just go crazy without even thinking about it. That's what a pop is. That's what people today do not get. And this is what we're talking about all the time, that people today are not over. That is over. He's in the ring for the Braun Strowman Seth Rollins contract signing. He puts over his memories of MSG, and then he calls both those guys out. And Rollins tells Austin that Braun thinks he might have it in for him, and then Rollins tries to be funny and play along with the what chants, and it wasn't funny at all. They both kissed Austin's ass. They both say they're going to win at Clash of Champions. They both sign the contract. Then the OC interrupts, and AJ Styles tells Austin to sit this one out or he might get hurt. It's about Braun and Seth. So the crowd starts chanting asshole at AJ, and Austin says, I don't know if you can hear, but you got 18,000 people calling you an asshole. And AJ says in Austin's old age, he's turned into an asshole and calls him an old fart. So then the OC and Rollins and Strowman get in a brawl, and then Austin hits a stunner on Styles, and we go to commercial. Not a bad open. Where this went was where the entire ball was dropped for the evening. They already opened up in a hole, ratings-wise, low in the first hour. It was like 2.3 million or something for the first hour, but they dropped to 1.8 million in the third hour. And as I go through this show, you will see why. Because nothing happened after this. They come back from commercial, and it's AJ Styles versus Cedric Alexander. Yeah, that's going to keep the people from flipping to football. So Gallows and Anderson cause a DQ, and then the Viking Raiders come out for absolutely no reason for the save, because we got to have a reason for them to be in the main event tonight. Hey, this will be it, even though it makes zero logical sense why these guys give a crap about saving Cedric Alexander. So then we get a generic Bayley and Sasha Banks promo backstage on Becky and Charlotte. That tag match is next, Becky and Charlotte versus Sasha and Bayley. You think there would have been some type of backstage with Becky and Charlotte before this, maybe? How they've hated each other for years and had this long feud, and now they're going to be teaming together, but there was nothing backstage with them. I mean, that's a no-brainer. Such lack of effort. So it's a long match, and Charlotte pins Bayley. And then that's it. No follow-up. So Sarah's with the OC, and she asks AJ about what happened in the opening segment, and AJ says they run the place, and then Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler come up and tell them that they all have enemies in common and they want to know where they stand, and then Ziggler and Styles fist bump. Great. We're heading for a hell of a main event tonight, guys. So then it's Rey Mysterio versus Gran Metalik, in a hell of a follow-up to the Rey Mysterio wanting to retire angle. We just put him in a meaningless match against Gran Metalik, one of the Lucha House Party. Like, would you even remember that this guy was in the Lucha House Party if they put him standing there by himself? Seriously. Like, nobody cares about this guy. So it's another long match. Rey Mysterio over. Okay, great. So what was the whole point of him retiring, not retiring, his kid coming in? So he can come back and beat Gran Metalik on Raw in a meaningless match. So then the Street Profits do their thing where they put everything over, and you know how I feel about this. I'm sick of it at this point. Then we have the King of the Ring Raw side final. Baron Corbin versus Samoa Joe versus Ricochet. Another long match. Baron Corbin goes over, and he is in the finals now at the pay-per-view. So then we have Lacey Evans versus Natalya. You guys sensing a pattern here? Match. Lacey Evans versus Natalya. Rematch from last week. This time Natalya goes over. Great. 50-50. We'll probably have a third match at the pay-per-view or on the kickoff. So then they show this in-ring that happened before Raw went on the air, where former Nick Enes Kanter, who's now with the Celtics, is being interviewed by Charlie, and R-Truth comes out because he's a huge fan or something. So then Kanter face plants him, just pushes him down with his face, which is, I guess, enough to pin a wrestler, because he pins Truth, wins the 24/7 championship, shows off his Celtics jersey to taunt the crowd, and then Truth rolls him back up and wins it back. Like, this, why don't even show this. This was stupid. You just had one of your wrestlers get pinned by a non-wrestler with a face face push. So then we have a new Firefly Funhouse. And Ramblin' Rabbit keeps yelling stranger danger. And he's talking about Stone Cold Steve Austin. And Abby complains because her digital clock's been stuck at 3:16 ever since Austin got there. So Bray pulls out a hammer, beats it with a hammer. Now the clock says 11:19, and he says, "Now there you go, Abby, your clock is right as rain." So I'm sure that 11:19 means something, knowing Bray. So then he starts talking about Austin, and he said, "You can't blame a rattlesnake for doing rattlesnake things. Strangers are just friends you haven't met yet. But friends can't help Seth or Braun where they're going. Friends forget, but the Fiend never forgets. See you in hell." So continuing the rumor that he's going to face the winner of Seth or in Braun in Hell in a Cell at Hell in a Cell. They're still doing this in front of a blue board, which I think looks cheesy. So now it's time for the main event already. Seriously. And it's a 10-man frickin' tag. You want to know why they dropped to 1.8 million? You want to blame it all on football? They had 2.3 million in the first hour, so they lost 500,000 people or whatever by this point, because who cares about this long-ass, meaningless 10-man tag? Seth Rollins, Braun Strowman, Cedric Alexander, and the Viking Raiders versus AJ Styles, Gallows and Anderson, Rude and Ziggler. The crowd is so bored. They're chanting everything you can think of. They're chanting Yowie Wowie, all this other crap. Match ends, babyface goes over, and Cedric Alexander pins AJ Styles. So I guess that will be your U.S. title match, I'm assuming, at Clash of Champions, because he just pinned the champion like champions always lose. So then Austin comes out, and he has beers with all the baby faces, all the 5 winners, and then we go off the air. This is your go home for a pay-per-view. This is your first show against Monday Night Football. Why bring Austin back if you aren't going to capitalize on the rest of the show? Did you expect you're going to bring out Austin and then people are going to stay for the rest of your garbage show? You really think that? You got Austin. You used him at the beginning. You used him at the end. Why didn't you use him throughout the frickin' show? Just at backstage with everybody. Why not? Make it entertaining. Do stuff that makes sense. All we had is match, meaningless match. 10-man tag main event. This is a go home, guys. Who's signing up for the network after this to watch freaking Clash of Champions? This is there's no storyline with Braun and Seth. They don't even do a meaningful thing to continue that for the pay-per-view to make you even more interested. They just put them in a meaningless 10-man tag. I mean, this is just like the worst effort I've ever seen. They gave up. Like, they absolutely just gave up and said, F it, just put on a wrestling card. Why bring Austin back for this? To sell the tickets, I guess. They didn't put any effort into their TV program. Absolutely ridiculous. I can't wait to see what SmackDown's like. But I appreciate your guys' support. I appreciate you for watching me here on Patreon. Because remember, I watch Raw for you. So you don't have to suffer through this 3-hour garbage that I did that took me like 5 minutes to go over. That's ridiculous. But I'll see you next time, guys. Thanks a lot. Have a good one.